hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wow, that's shocking that we both can hear each other.
I know. First time in one shot. Impressive.
I hope most impressive.
So, looks like we're back once again with another exciting episode of the Dragoon's Lair podcast. That's right, I am the Blue Dragoon himself, Daniel the Dragon, and with me via satellite, we have King Hamster Pellet himself, Mike Schiavo. Say hello to the people.
Hello to the people.
Okay, so life's getting a little crazy, and Mike just blanked out there. But we're back. Hopefully, he can get his camera back up. There we go. So, yeah. So we're back, and I messaged SAG because I heard that there were some changes to the rules for podcasting. And as long as we're a legitimate review show, which we are, yeah, we're good to go. So as long as we're giving legitimate critiques, you know,
Which we do.
old school Siskel and Ebert style, you keep blacking out. Yes, no, dip. You keep cutting in and out.
Eh,
'Tis the price we pay for being remote.
yeah, I know.
But we are able to at least get this episode out, even if we're recording way in advance. So,
Hey, whatever works.
yep, we have to. But this is the fun part of this because now we're back to our original format, but we're keeping the wheel. I like the wheel. So we're going to keep the wheel. Even
Oh,
with
like you spend.
yeah, even with the original format, we're adding the wheel. So,
Which is fun.
oh yeah, it gives us something extra to talk about and lets everybody have something they can participate in and tell us what they think. And they can tell us what they think at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's Dragoon's Lair Podcast. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. Send us your emails, people. Had to get that plug in real early this time around.
Yeah.
I've been slacking a little bit on the plugs. But then again, it's
Yeah.
not like we're sponsored.
Yeah.
Eh?
Just imagine. Just imagine how much more shameless plugs we'd be doing if we were sponsored. If anybody out there wants to sponsor us, or sponsor us, for those of you who speak English.
Unlike Mike.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell language that was. If you wanted sponsor us, I speak Michael.
I was thinking you were speaking backwards like in Twin Peaks.
Backwards words say, can go there. Shit, oh.
So, let's start off with a nice little conversation to warm everybody up before we go into a couple of main topics. And
Okay.
we're both convention goers.
Yes, we are.
I love going to a good convention. I like smaller conventions for the most part, but a big convention can be a lot of fun too. So, Mike, what's one of your all-time best convention experiences?
I would have to say, well, I went to a couple of the first New York Comic Cons when I was at the Javits Center, when it was all on one floor. Like everything was on one floor. Like they had us, like where the artist alley and stuff is now, that was like the holding area. And then everything was just like on the top floor. And that was a lot of fun. But like you, I like the smaller cons because you could do it in a day. You get to meet more people, and I feel at a smaller con, they're a little more personable. Like the lines aren't huge, so you're not run, shake the hand, get the autograph, and get the hell out. You can actually have a conversation with the guy. Like we went. I think this past March or May, we went to a convention out in New Jersey and met Jim Cummings, who does Darkwing Duck, among other people.
Yep, I got to meet him before the dark times of the pandemic.
This was a couple of months ago, and it was cool. I'm not sure if you guys could see it, but I'm going to show it anyway. Hang on.
Well, once he raises this up to the camera. Do 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 do. Ah, there we go.
It's an autograph by Mr. Cummings, and it says it's cool because he signed it twice. On the top part, he goes, "Stay dangerous, Mike, DW," and then on the bottom, he put Jim Cummings. So he signed it as Darkwing, and he signed it as Jim Cummings.
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool.
I got a Darkwing one myself from him because I love Darkwing Duck, and I got to tell.
Darkwing's great.
Oh, I got to tell him the story about when I was a kid, how I got in trouble because my mom actually thought I was saying "suck ass evildoers," because you remember Darkwing always told everybody he had a gas gun. It was "suck gas evildoers."
Suck gas evildoers.
And he told me, he said that was a key note from the studio. Make sure you hit the G.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was one. That was definitely a fun convention experience. I know, like, one of my all-time best convention experiences. I have to say, it's so hard because I've been to so many of them, but I will say that I'm gonna go with back in 2019 when I did meet Jim Cummings. I got to meet a large group from the older original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So getting to meet the original Red Ranger, the original Black Ranger, the second Black and Yellow Rangers, it was awesome for me and just one hell of an experience.
I remember my first experience at a convention was in '94 out at the Meadowlands Convention Center. It was the Marvel Mega Tour.
Oh.
And yeah, and you know, nobody like it, unless you were like a serious hardcore comic fan, like knowing all the artists.
Yeah.
You know, only person you knew who was there was Stan Lee, and he did a panel. And you know, even in '94, the panel wasn't packed for Stan Lee, and I was like, "What the hell?" So it was me, my brother, my sister, and my parents who went, and you know, I went to the panel, and I was able to ask Stan Lee a question.
Very nice. See, I didn't start going to conventions till the early 2000s, but I had done like a few of like the comic book collectors conventions, but that was more like just going and buying and selling and like comics.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, I started off with like the Fangoria Weekend of Horrors, moved on to Chiller Theater. I did like the New York Comic Con at the Javits Center. I've also done when they had it Big Apple Anime Fest.
That was another one I did. I did the Big Apple Con. That was fun.
Yeah, Big Apple did a lot of good ones. You know, there's always so many interesting people to meet. And I have to say, the costumes, I'm not one for dressing up in costume to go to a convention. I know you are, but I love seeing the intricacy of like when you get a cosplayer that makes their costume.
Yeah.
It really stands out. The time, the effort, the detail. You also wonder how much money they spent putting into those costumes.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you could tell who got it from Party City and who made it on their own. And no, nothing against Party City if you're just a casual fan, but you know, you could tell who dropped serious coin. And
absolutely,
personally, I enjoy going to convention, especially the Big Apple one. Not the Big Apple. I'm sorry, the New York City Comic Con. I enjoy going to that in costume because, you know, if you have a cool costume, people will walk up and want to take a picture with you. Like I went a couple of years as Batman, and everybody wanted a picture with me. And it makes you feel cool. Lynn went as Wonder Woman, and they wanted pictures with her too. And it's cool. I went as Ash one year when Mr. Campbell was there, and I specifically went as Ash to meet Mr. Campbell. And, I went up, shook his hand. I had the chainsaw arm. I had the ripped up shirt with the crosses. I had the boomstick in the back. And he looked at me and he goes, "So, who are you supposed to be?" I look at him playing. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, "Who are you dressed up as?" He goes, "What's your costume?" I go, "You could come in costume?" And that he looked at me. That made him chuckle. And he was like, he goes, "I've been here for 3 days, and I have to say that is the most authentic Ash costume I've seen in the past 3 days," which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Bruce
So,
Campbell's
Mr. Campbell, thank you.
Oh yeah, Bruce Campbell's always a blast to see at a convention. I mean, I have to say one of my favorite people to see at the conventions. When I go, even just to stop by and say hello, has to be Tiffany Seppes.
Yes, she'll be at this year's ChillerCon, I believe.
Yes, with the Chiller Theater Convention, which I'm hoping I get a chance to go. I got to see how my schedule works. But I looked at that list when you told me before you told me you were going, and I was going to suggest this to you, but I can say it proudly. You have to go meet Mark Lindbaker.
Yeah.
Not if you're going to go in costume though. You have to dress as Balky. You got to do it. You gotta.
Well, what is Balky's costume though?
Come
What?
on, you got to look like you're straight out of the '80s with like the crazy vest with fringes. Maybe maybe a stuffed sheep.
I got to do a stuffed sheep, but I dress like I'm out of the '80s anyway.
Yes, but you got to wear the vest. Got to be a little more bright and verbose, if that's an actual word. Um, you cut out again. But no, I'm gonna keep saying it until he get. Yeah, you definitely need to get a picture with him for Instagram and like Facebook. I think everyone would absolutely love that. Don't know if you caught what I said.
Did you call me?
You're cutting out again. This is the problem with doing this remote. Saves on travel time, but the cutting out's the problem. Do 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 do. Sorry, folks. I'm just trying to find a place to edit down and maybe put in a commercial because with Mike disappearing, cuts in, cuts right back out. Remember, folks, you can see this all on Blue Dragoon 13 on YouTube, where you can see how many times Mike cuts out.
I
Make
can
it a drinking
see you,
game.
but now I can't. Oh, I hate this fucking thing. I really, really do.
We got to turn this into a drinking game every time Mike cuts in and out. I think somebody's going to be hammered within the first 5 minutes of the show.
And if you're just moving your lips and not talking, you're a real asshole.
No, I'm actually speaking. What, you can't hear?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm going to turn on the caption because I can't hear you for shit.
Oh, God. Now we need closed captioning.
Okay.
So we've got closed captioning for the hearing impaired.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, no, you have to get a picture, but you do have to get a picture with Mark Lindbaker. I think everyone would love to see that as your profile picture, let alone for on Instagram and Facebook. Come on.
If I can't get the vest, I'll definitely try to get. If I have it, my mother has it. We have a stuffed sheep, and I'll get a picture with Mark Lindbaker and holding the sheep, and I'll put that as my profile picture.
Yeah, because let's face it, you have to realize that we've made so many like perfect strangers jokes about you that you gotta just lean into it at this point. He's got no clue if I'm speaking or not because instead of him using real headphones, use real headphones. Plug headphones into computer.
I can't, because if I plug the headphones into the computer, I take out the microphone.
All right, so I'm gonna have to give you the adapter that came with my one of my setups for the microphone, so you can put in the headphones and the microphone.
Yeah, because my earbuds suck.
Yeah, well, they're AirPods. What do you expect? And I'm assuming they're
Whatever.
more bootleg AirPods than anything else.
Actually, no, they look pretty good. I mean, Lynn found them at work, and I mean, they were free, so I can't really complain. But anyway.
Yeah, but no.
All right, so we're going to spin this wheel or what, buddy?
All right, so let's see. I got to see if I can even do this now. A window.
The window into your soul.
There we go. Allow. And we're going to spin this baby.
Oh, I get to see it.
Yes.
Wheel of morality. Turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn. It's a free car! Yay!
James Avery.
Ooh. For those of you who don't know, besides playing Uncle Phil on Fresh Prince, he was also the voice of Shredder on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's right. So, James Avery really popped up all over the place, especially playing Uncle Phil for quite a while. But those of you in the know do know him as the original voice of Shredder. Because let's face it, nobody could top that.
No, not at all.
He was iconic in Ninja Turtles. Now, I could see him coming back doing more voice work. But at the same time, I can also see he could have done like a bunch of cameos and stuff. And I think it would have been interesting to see him doing a few cameos, because it would have popped up more like what has been going on with, Carl Winslow, the dad from Family Matters, popping up in commercials. And like he's done like little other TV shows where he's played a cop. He just seems to always play a cop.
I have his filmography up here. He was actually an uncredited dancer in the Blues Brothers.
Nice. We're gonna have to look back at that one and see like where he was in that one in Blues Brothers.
He was Detective Number 2, which I remember him in Fletch, 1985, with Chevy Chase.
Before we knew about Chevy Chase.
Or knew about Chevy Chase. He was also in License to Drive. He was Les's DMV examiner.
Yeah.
What else? Brady Bunch movie. He was Steve Yeager.
Yeah, he really went off and did a lot of stuff. But I could also see like he would have been, if he was still with us, I could see like him not only being brought back to be the voice of Shredder or another character, but maybe playing like some other characters in like animated series. But
in remember Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling?
Oh, yes, I do.
He was JYD. He was the voice of the Junkyard Dog.
See, now that's interesting, because I didn't realize that they didn't do their own voices. Because as a kid, I thought they did their own voices.
Yeah, me too.
So
honestly, you know where I could see him doing?
What?
I could see him, if it wasn't for Vince D'Onofrio killing the role, I could see him playing
Kingpin.
I could see him playing the Kingpin.
That's something I think he could pull off, but I think we would have seen him pop up in the Bel Air spinoff show, that reboot.
Yeah.
But not as Uncle Phil, because the recasting was actually very interesting and has been very good, but I could have seen him coming in and playing like maybe one of the other relatives, or even playing Phil's father.
Yeah, I could see that too.
So, I mean, James Avery did have a amazing career, but it would have also been nice to see what his reaction would have been to Will Smith slapping Chris Rock.
Yeah, he would have been like, "What the hell?" and smacked Will Smith.
It's like, Will, what is wrong with you, boy?
What's wrong with you?
So now, when it comes to let's just take that little quick re-trip to the convention thing, because who you're going to Chiller? Who are you really looking to see?
There are a few people. Let me pull it up again. Hang on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the website right now, and it's not in any real major order, but
Hmm.
there is a lot of people on there.
There are a lot of people on there. I mean, there are, people that I would like to meet.
Which
Like, I
I'm
know
sure
there's no chance.
they'll be charging a little more than you're willing to pay.
It depends on how bad I want to meet the person.
Yeah, I've seen the prices get pretty high, but usually those are the
Yeah,
professional photos. But that
right.
does,
I mean, if I see the guy at the table, I'll walk up, shake his hand, take a picture, give a couple of bucks. But Markland Baker,
yep,
and, Chuck Zito will be back, who is Barry Zito's brother.
yep. So what about Danny Glover?
Um,
Or are you too old for this shit?
I'm not, dude, I'm going to freaking Comic Con, hopefully as the Winter Soldier. I'm never too old for this shit. Um, Possibly. I mean, it depends on the line and the price. Um,
Now, would you meet Emmanuel Lewis?
Webster, I'd meet him. I'm not sure if I want to spend money to, like, take a picture, but I give him the obligatory head nod and stuff like that. Just looking at here, the Chips reunion, maybe meet Ponch.
Yeah. What about all the
Who
kids
else?
from A Christmas Story?
Uh, Honestly, I have to say, I am so sick of that movie. 24 hours of A Christmas Story, that is 24 hours too much.
Yeah, it's been getting bad when they repeat the same Christmas movie over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, you want to show it once or twice, fine, but you don't need 24 hours. Even when it was out and I first saw it, I was like, no, enough. I just don't like it.
Okay.
Um, maybe Larry Minetti.
Okay. What about Brett Butler?
I'm gonna pass on Miss Butler. I'm gonna have to say that to pass. Maybe Marlo Hemingway, Marley, Miss Hemingway, maybe her. Only because I'm a Jaws fan.
Okay.
Susan Backline, she was the first chick eaten by Jaws who jumped into water.
What about Darlene
Um,
Vogel from Back to the Future 2?
uh, yeah, I'll meet her. You know the story about her stunt double
Yes.
in the hoverboard accident?
Yep.
Well, for those of you who don't know, the day before they do the big hoverboard scene where Griff's gang flies through the courthouse, there was an earthquake, a minor one, and the rigging got shifted a couple of inches to a foot, and the woman who was Miss Vogel's stunt double was new in the business, and she's like, I don't feel safe doing this. Recheck everything, and they're like, no, we're on a tight schedule. We need to do it. We need to do it now. If you don't want to do it, we'll get somebody else. And at that point in this woman's career, the stunt double, you turn it down a role like this, you're going to get labeled, and she didn't want that, so they did the stunt. And they're supposed to pull a like a cord that will drop them onto an airbag. And this scene is actually in the movie. When you see them flying towards the glass on the courthouse when they're in the future, you see the woman stunt double bang against the concrete column. And she bangs against that, and she falls like 50 feet to the ground. And the two other people, after they crash through the plate glass, which is sugar glass, they missed the airbag because everything got shifted. And when they ran up to see Miss Vogel's stunt double, they just see her laying in a pool of blood, and people are like, holy shit, she's dead. She ended up severely injuring her back, but I believe she continued being a stunt person. But she was like, from that point on, if I don't feel safe doing the stunt. She goes, I will put my foot down.
Yep.
And I will make them check the rigging, which is sad that it had to come to that for her, but good that she put her foot down.
Yep. So, from that depressing story, what about Dee Dee Pfeiffer?
Dee Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer's
she was in
sister.
Playboy. Why not?
Oh, she's Michelle Pfeiffer's sister.
Is she really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Maybe.
Because I swear they don't age. Like Michelle Pfeiffer still like Gazoon Head.
Thank you.
Michelle Pfeiffer really, she doesn't look like she's aging at all. So it's like it's so slow. I want to know where the fountain of youth is for that
Tom Cruise.
one. Which one?
Her and Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. They don't age.
Yep.
Yeah, I might go meet Dee Dee.
Yeah. If I can get there, I definitely want to meet Amanda Bears.
I thought it was Bears or Beers.
It's Bears S-E. It's Bear S-E. So I'm like, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm butchering
I think it's pronounced Beers, though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give her a shot if she's around.
Yeah.
Might want to meet Mark Metcalf from Animal House.
Yeah.
And he actually had like the great line in the Twisted Sister song, "We're not gonna take it." A pledge pin on your uniform.
Yeah, no. The funny thing is, they have someone who I would be interested to meet, but I don't know if I really would. S.D. Nemeth, Bixby Snyder from RoboCop and RoboCop 3. He was, I'd buy that for $1.
Oh, yeah. I'd buy it. If no one else was around,
yeah,
I'd give him the obligatory. If it's not like crazy, like I don't see this guy charging more than like $30 for a picture and an autograph. I don't see it. They also have Fred Sorensen.
Okay.
He played Indy's trusted pilot Jacques in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. And
that's just my pet snake, Reggie.
And that was it. He was done.
That was it. He did that, and he waited all this time to come to this ChillerCon.
Yep.
What about Kevin Ball? He played the Creeper in Jeepers Creepers.
That could be interesting. I think I got to see him at a convention when the first Jeepers Creepers was coming out, but I think there was a conflict of whose line I had to get on because it was at a Fangoria Weekend of Horrors. And I think it was either him or Bruce Campbell, and I was going to be waiting on Bruce's line.
Yeah, no, if it's a choice between anybody and Bruce Campbell, hands down, the answer is Bruce Campbell.
Yep.
Looking at like some of the other ones here, nothing really else catches my attention. I mean, maybe Martin Kelba from he was a little guy in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Maybe him. Stacey Dash is going to be there.
See, this is the thing about Chiller. It was like a horror convention, and then they have Frankie Avalon is going to be there. So
yeah, I know.
They kind of run the gamut of a whole bunch of people from all over, so it's not just exclusively horror or sci-fi.
And that's what I like about it, because again, it's not huge. You could do it in a day, and they have a lot of cool stuff there that won't charge you an arm and a leg. Like, you can go there and spend maybe like $200-300 and come out with a ton of shit.
Oh, absolutely.
As opposed to going to New York Comic Con, spending $200-300 and just get parking.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it all depends on the location of the convention, but I will say Chiller has always been a blast for me, and I would like to go back because I haven't been in like years.
Well, I'm probably getting tickets in the next couple of days, so if you want to go, check the schedule and let me know.
Yeah, I gotta figure out because I may have to try to see if they'll allow me to take a day off because I'm so valuable.
COVID. I have COVID.
Now I can't do that because you went and you put it on something that everyone can hear on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify,
Pandora.
Amazon Podcast. We're on
That's what
every
the other one was.
platform that
Are we
you.
on Pandora?
We might be. I'm not sure, but if
I have to go back and check the. I have
yeah,
to go back and edit the business card because I think I left a couple out.
yep, that's right,
We will
folks. We're
have business
becoming
cards soon,
official.
though,
We're
folks.
getting business cards.
We're getting business cards. That's a
When you know
status right
you've
there.
made it.
Yeah. Well, of course, I made it, so of course. And when I say I made it, I mean like the card itself.
Yeah. Now,
I sat down to that.
now, I mean, we're going to talk more about conventions and stuff as the shows progress because this is convention season, and even though
Yes.
we're doing bi-weekly shows, you know, it really is something that we both enjoy going to do. I mean,
And
because
even the smaller ones, because like you don't have to wait all year. Like Chiller is like 2-3 times a year.
Chiller, Monster
There's
Mania,
Monster
you
Mania.
know,
There's one out
none
in
of these are
Pittsburgh.
none of these are promoted by us. We're just fans
We're just saying
of.
stuff we want to go.
Yeah.
Like there's one I really want to go to. I want to go to Steel City Con out in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But usually when they do it is when I have work, and Pittsburgh isn't a 5-minute drive.
No, it is not.
So
yeah, but now
I mean,
I do want to get back. We'll get back to this on another day because like I want to talk about the like a lot of the cosplays and stuff because
okay.
like they go crazy with them. But we'll do that next time because right now I want to talk about and actually review because we're away from the last episode of Ahsoka, I believe, because it's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, they just 6 should be dropping this past.
It'll be.
Well, it's dropping the day we're recording this.
Yeah. Well, the next day.
So it's dropping on the 19th. So when you're here this past Tuesday, the 19th.
Yeah. So we'll give a full on review of the full season, but for now, I'm caught up to all 5 episodes. Are you?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I have to say, like, one thing that it amazes me is the way the music hit from the very beginning. The music was so on point that you felt the atmosphere. It was one of those things where you're just sitting there and you almost want the soundtrack because of how good the musical score has been for this show so far. I mean, the character designs have been on point. Like, they've put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to figure with a show carrying the Star Wars title.
And technically continuing on after Rebels.
Yeah, but just any show with the Star Wars title on it, anywhere in it, you have to know, production is going to be through the roof. They're not going to skimp out and give you great visual effects but a crappy soundtrack, or a great soundtrack and crappy special effects. They will go all out because they have to maintain the level people expect from a Star Wars brand. So the writing, amazing, acting on point. Even the people that they got to play the characters, with the exception of Ahsoka herself, look just like the characters from the cartoon.
I mean, Ahsoka does look like they made Rosario Dawson really look like an older Ahsoka.
Yeah, but I mean, I watched a couple episodes of Rebels. Rebels. Shut up. After I watched, I believe, the 3rd episode, I went back and I watched the series finale of Rebels just to see what everybody's talking about. they all looked spot on. I don't believe the guy in black is Ezra, as everybody's claiming he was. Um, I want to see where they go after this. I
Yeah.
want to see what's the next show. I mean,
Now,
because this is supposed to be bridging the gap between, um, like in this, like it is supposed to tell you how Palpatine came back and everything, correct?
well, they're looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Right, but
So
I'm just saying, like
this is
this is
it.
like
I think it kind of ties in because the Star Wars lore has gotten so convoluted because they took away the expanded universe. Now it's like what's canon, what isn't, what's legacy, and whatnot. It's
right,
kind of a clusterfuck. But what I will say is that it will eventually lead on because Shadows of the Empire, the books and the games from back in the day did have a place, and they've kind of pulled those elements out and really like interweaving them into this has been a very interesting like visual presentation. I mean, I will say I did love the lightsaber battle that they brought in because they did bring Hayden Christian back in, and like seeing him as Anakin, where we know he never like Hayden Christensen didn't voice his character in Clone Wars or Rebels,
but
so
it sounded like him.
it sounded like, but it was not him. So we never got a chance to see Ahsoka interacting with actual Anakin from the movie
Right.
universe. And we're kind of getting to see that for the first time. So, I mean, it's hitting nostalgia points, but it can't even be too nostalgic because Rebels wasn't that long ago,
Right.
but it was long enough that it is hitting those moments. I will say that the Star Wars fandom is up there with being pretty toxic over the years.
Oh yeah.
It's instead of just enjoying things for what they are, there's been a lot of backlash for nonsensical reasons.
Perfect case in point. Solo.
Yep.
It
So it
was
wasn't a bad
a good
movie.
movie. No, it was a good movie. It was enjoyable. It because again, a lot of people expected to see the Harrison Ford polished Han Solo.
Yeah.
They have to remember this is an origin story. This is how he became the scruffy nerf herder.
Yep. And it's a shame really because it was a good movie. I mean, granted, the actor they got didn't really pull off the Harrison Ford
Nobody
like the
pulled
way
off
that they
Harrison Ford
wanted
but
him
him,
to. But I mean, let's face it, we had Donald Glover coming in as Lando Calrissian,
which was great.
and it worked.
Not not so fast, Han, as he
Yeah,
playing Sabak and cheats.
yeah, and that's the thing. Star Wars has been pretty toxic over the years, but it is something that when they get it right, they do a good
They get it
job.
right. Yeah.
And so far, Ahsoka has been one of like it's been that show that they've gotten it right. I haven't
I think
seen too many
Ahsoka and
missteps.
I think Ahsoka. I would put the three top shows: Ahsoka, Mandalorian, Obi Wan.
Yeah, because the thing is, I kind of put the Book of Fett as like,
In with the
yeah,
Mandalorian.
it's like chapter 2.5. So it's
Yeah.
that segue between 2 and 3.
I mean, I liked it because everybody likes Boba Fett, and you know how he came back in the comics and in the novels, and now it just gave you a chance to see that.
Yeah.
And I think revisiting, set pieces and characters from the original trilogy that you don't really get to see, like Fett, you
Yep.
know, it, it's nostalgic, and you're like, oh, I remember this guy, I liked him, he's cool. Let's see how he came back, and then actually seeing him come back,
Oh, yeah.
that was cool, and seeing him escape the Sarlacc and blowing it up afterwards,
Yeah.
and
So,
getting back in slavery.
yeah. So far, this is, it's positive reviews for me. It, I just have to say that the thing that keeps creeping up in the back of my mind is the price gouging that's going on because Disney Hulu bundle, hey, we're jacking up the price. We're in the middle of a writers and actors strike. you're claiming you're losing money, but you're making money every day, and meanwhile, we're all going to be the ones paying extra money for a service that you're still trying to give us tiers with commercials.
Yeah.
So it's a little rough to like really sit there and have to take that.
No, it's a lot of rough. It's not a little, it's a lot.
Yeah. Now, I do want to talk about, because I know you didn't watch it because you're not really an anime fan, but they did the live action One Piece on Netflix. The first
Okay.
season, it's only about 8 episodes, but they did an amazing job with this. And I can say, like, and anybody who wants to disagree with me is free to, and can send me those emails at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's dragoonslairpodcast. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. It's all one word, dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. So now I've been watching One Piece since the anime started back on Fox Kids, when it was the 4 Kids dub, which they replaced a whole bunch of stuff that made it look ridiculous. But it's been going on now for over 20 years. So now that it's gotten a live action like interpretation, at least for the first season, they did make a few changes and tweaks to make it fit, but Ichiro Oda, the creator, really stepped up and helped them make something that I consider to be probably one of, if not the best, like anime adaptations into live action, considering all the ones that have come before it have not been so good.
Yeah.
You know, they've been pretty bad, and that's just to be honest with it. But this one, they made Oda told them where the different ethnicities of the different cast, like crew members are. The crew members that have come up so far, they really are pulling off these characters. And you can tell there's kind of like a love of the characters in there for them. So you feel a connection to them. And I'm going to say it, like, in all honesty, I got choked up by seeing the ship, by seeing the masthead for the Going Merry. It, like, they actually built the ships. So, like, the sets are full, like, they really built the ship. And seeing that brought to life and knowing where it all goes, like, I'm getting a little choked up even talking about it right now. Because it really is something that it's like, you follow along with the anime, and it's like reading a book series and following those characters, and a good writer can really like hook you in and really pull on those emotional heartstrings. And I think they found a way to do that with this, even with the minor changes and speeding up, like Luffy's grandfather Garp coming in earlier, like changing a few things to make Arlong come in a little quicker. They did an amazing job. And the fight sequences really do full on overlap. So you're not just following one character during a big battle. You're seeing like 3-4 people all fighting in like other enemies all at the same time. And they've interwoven it so well. Now, it'll be interesting to see if a season 2 is able to come out, because there's still a strike going on. And I have to like really point that out, that it's like, you know, the studios keep proving to be greedy. I know it seems like at the time of this recording, they're going to be talking to the writers and trying to like come to some kind of an agreement with the Writers Guild. But the studios act like they're holding back and being hurt so badly by asking for I can't remember which studio it was. It might have been Warner Brothers, but swearing that it's like they're losing $400 and something million because of the strike. Meanwhile, the Actors and Writers Guild, with what they're asking for, would hit them for like what, 46 mil? Gee,
Yeah.
46 mil versus 400 and something mil. What is like, what kind of gall and audacity does it take to like hold everything up? And it's like you're losing so much more money by holding out, and all the movies are getting pushed back. I mean, let's face it, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe is being pushed back so far that now what are they doing? We got movies that were supposed to come out in 2024 that won't come out till 2025. And that's only if the strike doesn't go further on and delay everything even further.
I think the only benefit that Marvel will get out of this strike is it'll give people a chance to do other stuff, watch other things, because let's face it, for what, the past 10 years, 15 years,
15,
Marvel has been flooded the market with Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Black Panther, just flooding the market. I think it's time Marvel just shuts down, takes a step back, not shut down, but, take a step back, let everybody go, oh, let's go watch Ghostbusters, let's go do this, let's go do that, and then you hit them with phase 5.
Yeah, there is a burnout that is going on when it comes to the superhero genre as a whole, because they're becoming too formulaic, and you are able to see where certain beats are going. But, I mean, we're going with 2 studios that are really cranking things out, and the problem is, one is cranking out stuff that people want to see, and the other is cranking out movies that...
and the other is DC.
Yeah. Basically proving that their movies aren't getting, like, the respect that they deserve and the love and the backing. We don't know how things are going to change with the new heading for Warner Brothers DC having James Gunn, and I always forget the other guy's name because you're not James Gunn. But...
It's James Gunn and the other guy.
Yeah, but the problem is when you really take a look at what they're doing, like, I saw Blue Beetle. I don't know if you saw it.
I saw it.
It's not a bad movie.
No, it's not. It's a good flick.
But it was not marketed well.
No, it wasn't. I mean, if you don't know Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes, if you don't know the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle, well, if you don't know Blue Beetle at all, because I just know Ted Kord in the comics, and Ted Kord was killed by Max Lord.
Yep.
And then Wonder Woman snapped his neck. But I really didn't know, outside of the few episodes I watched of Young Justice with Blue, I really didn't know it. So I'm watching this, I'm like, okay. I mean, did I think it was a little too preachy in parts where it's like, oh, we are, what are they, Puerto Rican, Mexican?
Mexican.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're Mexican and da-da-da. I'm like, okay, let's stop with the preaching and get back to the action part of it.
It wasn't even,
but
it wasn't even
a
that.
Film.
It wasn't even that. It was like, you know what? This is the first time there was an actual Hispanic representation as a live action superhero. Because you can kind of give that to Marvel a little bit with Miles Morales in the animated ones, but it's not the same.
Yeah, but it's animated. It's not the same. I mean, I get it. I mean, I have no problem with Spanish superheroes, but okay, we're watching the film. We know he's Spanish. We don't need to keep shoving it in our face.
Well, right now it is Hispanic Heritage Month, and I am Spanish, so I will say that the thing is, it wasn't marketed well, and
not at all,
because the target audience that would have seen it wasn't seeing it. And DC's bad track record with everything being canceled, rebooted, reshuffled, not knowing who's Wonder Woman, who's Batman, who's Superman anymore. It's become this thing that you're safer to wait, let it bomb at the box office, and then go
watch
and
it
see it on Max, or when it's on Amazon Prime and you rent it for a lot cheaper than going to see it in the theater. I mean,
speaking of Wonder Woman, I have seen a fan rendering of Alexandra Daddario as Wonder Woman.
I think we've all seen that.
No, this is a new one. And I'm like, that needs to be done.
listen, she has a look that could pull it off, but then again, they had the failed series they tried to do for Wonder Woman with Adrian Padalecki. And I think Mike froze, but I'm going to keep going anyway. But Adrian Padalecki did a great job with it, but it was the wrong time. It just didn't work. And that's part of the problem. When it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And it was during the time of Smallville, so they were trying, but it didn't work. And I'm pretty sure you didn't catch a single thing I said.
I'm pretty sure what you were talking about was the Wonder Woman TV show.
Yes.
The pilot
with Adrian Padalecki.
Adrian Padalecki. Again, she looked great in the costume. I actually have a bootleg of the pilot.
Who doesn't?
The pilot was Adrian Padalecki as Wonder Woman. Yes.
The story behind it was around remember they were doing this during the time of Smallville, so there were two spin-offs that came out.
Complete and utter dog shit.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense whatsoever.
No, I mean, no. Justin Brunner as Steve Trevor. Okay. Everybody else, no.
The thing is, we can't even say anything about casting for any of these films because the strike is going on. So they could tell us a whole bunch of stuff, but things could change because of contract negotiations, how long the strike goes on, if somebody gets a better offer for something else. So it boils down to the burnout is real when it comes to the superhero movies. So this is giving us a little bit of a break, but it's not really because we're going to get another season of a show on Disney Plus because I forget which one's coming out, but I know Daredevil Reborn got pushed back due to the strike. So, and I was looking forward to that one.
Are they doing a season 2 of She-Hulk?
I do not know, and that's part of the problem because I know that the visual effects team for Marvel and Disney basically said we want to unionize because of the conditions that they've had to be working. Like they're still doing the CGI and all the special effects and everything, even to the last minute of it airing. Are they still going and doing this?
I believe it.
And then they go back and they still keep going and tweaking stuff before it becomes available on home release. If it's even going to be a home release. Because let's pull things off of streaming platforms because we don't want to pay people. So when we pull them off of the streaming platforms, we're not giving you a physical media. So you got to stick with us and hope we bring it back so you can watch it one day. The method to the madness is more madness than it is method.
Than method, yeah. All on meth, so.
Yeah. But it's there. The studios need to really figure this stuff out. And Mike, what was our tagline for this season?
I don't remember.
Wow, it's only been 2 weeks. It's don't be a dick.
Oh yes, don't be a dick.
So
yes,
we say
I forget that. I've been told that many times. Mike, don't be a dick.
So we say this
mainly by you and Doug, but
but we say this to the studios when it comes to the strike, and just do the right thing and don't be a dick.
No. When it comes to the studios and the strike, it's not don't be a dick. It's stop being a dick because they are a dick.
Oh yeah,
this is a dick move.
Yeah.
If you were threatening a strike, then it's like don't be a dick. Don't do it. Don't be a dick. Now they are doing this whole thing, so it's stop being a dick because they are.
And we stand with the writers and the actors on this one, which is why
I am a writer. I am an actor. I know what they are going through.
Yeah.
It sucks balls.
Yeah, and like being squeezed out by a large conglomerate is terrible.
Sucks. It's hard. It's and then us as an independent filmmaker, if we make a film, we're going to be looked down upon.
No, actually, we're not because we're not in the studio system. We could work with non-union actors.
Yeah, but then people will be like, "Oh, you should join the union and this and that." And
Yeah.
I knew a buddy. His thing, you got to do 2 short films and jump into the union. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that because A, I don't have the money to pay the dues, and unless you're offering me a Marvel or a Disney contract where I'm headlining and I'm making the millions of dollars,
Yep.
I'm going to continue to make my stuff the way I want, put it out to festivals, and go that route. Will it ever get me the millions of dollars? Probably not, but there's always hope.
Yep.
You know, they say even the sun shines on a dog's ass sometime.
And on that note, folks, I think we're going to wrap up this episode of the Dragoon's Lair podcast. Mike, you want to give everybody the socials?
Yes, I will. You can follow the Dragoon's Lair podcast at gmail.com. Remember, Dragoon's Lair podcast spelled with 2 O's. Dragoon's Lair podcast at gmail.com. If you want to drop us a line, maybe you can send us a link where I can learn how to speak better because I can't talk for shit right now. Give us a topic for a future show. Let us know, hey, we're doing a great job, or hey, you suck, change it. Okay, let us know. You can find us on Instagram at Dragoon's Lair Podcast. You can also find us on Facebook at, you guessed it, the Dragoon's Lair Podcast. You can follow me, Mike Schiavo, Facebook at Michael Schiavo, or you can find me on Hamster Pellet Productions at Facebook. We're on Threads.
Because we may not be on Twitter for much longer because Musk is trying to make everybody pay for that.
Yeah.
And I ain't paying him shit.
No, he has enough money. Yeah, okay, so that's all the socials. You can follow Danny on, he has a Pornhub and OnlyFans page, so don't forget to tip him well, and the more you tip, the more he keeps on, so.
Yes, that's right. But you can also follow me at Blue Dragoon 13 on Twitter, Twitch. Actually, not on Twitter. I'm not I'm not even on there under Blue Dragoon 13. So Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok.
OnlyFans.
No, I said TikTok. So let's just be clear on that one.
Pornhub.
But you can reach out and make sure you send us an email at dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. That's all one word. Dragoon is spelled with 2 O's. That's dragoonslairpodcast@gmail.com. I have to make up for Mike not being able to speak the Queen's English.
Hey. If I wanted to sound like Freddie Mercury, I will, but we have a king. There's a king out in England right now, so it's the King's English.
Oh, you mean the king that everybody hates anyway? That's right,
you know
Charles.
He's a figurehead. So what power does he really have?
Nothing.
Figurehead.
He's a figurehead. He's a legitimate figurehead with nothing up there in his head between those gigantic satellite ears.
Like somebody else we know. But we're not going to get political.
No, but when it comes to the king, yeah, there is only one king, and that is Bruce Campbell.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, he was Bubba Hotep. So remember.
He was Bubba Hotep.
Yep. So he was Elvis. So it is Bruce. So Bruce Campbell is the only king that we recognize.
And on that note, to close this out, I must say, hail to the king, baby.
Now, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Now get out.
Bye-bye.
Latest.